What's going on, everyone? Mike Kadlick, Tayler Kyles here for CLNS Media, outside Gillette Stadium, outside a very hot Gillette Stadium. Yeah. Another scorcher down here for day 8 of Patriots training camp in Foxboro. A reminder, we're powered by Game Time. Head over to Game Time. Use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. As we do after every practice, we're here to talk about the quarterbacks, mainly Jacoby Brissett, Drake Maye, because those were the only two guys who really participated in competitive drills today. There wasn't much from the third quarterback spot with Joe Milton and Bailey Zappi. So let's focus on, again, number 14 and number 10, the rookie and the vet. I thought both guys had another solid day today. They're continuing to build momentum. I thought overall today was the best day for the offense. Both guys had some ups. Both guys did obviously have some downs as well. But overall, from start to finish with those guys commanding the offense, again, I thought it was the unit's best day so far.
Yeah, even Jabril Peppers acknowledged that it was back and forth, it was competitive, but he was like, yeah, the defense gave up a few too many plays. But yeah, Jacoby Brissett needed kind of a bounce-back day after not really looking great in his past 2 sessions. The accuracy wasn't where I really wanted to be. I feel like that's kind of a theme. And honestly, the nice part is a lot of it actually came downfield with overthrows because Jacoby Brissett was actually trying to air it out, pushing the ball downfield, which I feel like he's done more of since the pads came on. Yeah. There were some misses, like I said, but also plenty of makes. I think his throw of the day was a slot fade to Demario Douglas, who could not be covered no matter who lined up against him today. Yeah. But yeah, good day for Jacoby Brissett. Again, in pads when you really want to see that translate. And even Drake Maye, I thought, it was a lot of underneath stuff. Even he acknowledged, speaking to us after practice, that he hasn't really aired it out, especially in these padded sessions. But it was one of those days where, you kind of take what you get, no glaring mistakes. His best throw of the day, I thought, was a throw to Kayshon Boutte on the front pylon, where Boutte ran a comeback, I believe it was against Marco Wilson. Tight window throw, Drake Maye on the run, put it on the money. But other than that, there was a nice throw to LaMichael Petway as well against Brendan Schooler after he separated. But a lot of just underneath stuff, taking what the defense gave him. Hopefully, as these days go on, we'll see some more aggressiveness. That was one of Drake Maye's calling cards in college. Yeah. But like I said, really just a solid day for both quarterbacks, with Jacoby Brissett having more of the real positives on the day in the plus throws. And like you mentioned, only one set of reps for a third quarterback today. Yeah. Those went to Joe Milton towards the end of practice. There was a scramble, there was an attempt, not a whole lot of action for him either. So a really interesting development in how the QB reps have kind of been split up. Looks like Bailey Zappi, though, might be falling even further behind in this race. Yeah,
Zappi mentioned after practice when he spoke to him that it's hard not getting the reps. He said that he wants to be here and he wants to, continue to compete and be on this team. So, obviously he's going to struggle through the fact that he was a 4th-round pick a few years ago. He comes in, starts a bunch of games the last 2 years, and now is kind of being phased out. But I thought it was, interesting to hear him say it out loud that, this is tough for him. And you mentioned Pop and Jacoby Brissett. Brissett even said after practice that he pops on film, and he was like, no pun intended. I thought that one was...
Why are these players so against intended puns? It's okay. Right. Intend your puns. They're hilarious.
Exactly. It's good stuff. Brissett also wearing an awesome throwback to New England Patriots hat.
Oh, yeah, it was
he
sick.
Rocks it all the time. It's pretty good stuff. But yeah, you're right about Drake Maye too. You mentioned he's kind of just taking what the defense gives him. I think that's exactly what you want to see from him. Obviously, you want to see the aggressiveness and the downfield throws, the accuracy, the athleticism, all that, which we'll see next week in the real action game, preseason game. But I do like that he's not. There was a couple double clutch plays, but he's still putting the ball where he's supposed to. Again, taking what the defense can give him and running the offense efficiently. So overall, a good day from the quarterbacks. Protecting the quarterbacks, the same offensive line we saw yesterday with Darian Lowe at left tackle again for the first team, and Caden Wallace at left tackle for the second team. Some notes too. Calvin Anderson leaves practice with a left foot or ankle injury.
Yeah, it looked bad at the time because his teammates were huddled around him. He had, I think it was his left shoe was off. He tried to put weight on it at first and couldn't. Ended up very gingerly walking off the field with trainers, but then
he comes back. Plays, gets some reps at right tackle again with, I think it was the second team offense with Wallace.
And the first, actually. That was kind of a surprise.
Yeah.
During the 2-minute drill, you actually saw Calvin Anderson at right tackle with the top offense while Chuks Okorafor was looking behind him.
That's right, too.
Chuks Okorafor has been a staple on the right side, so this was the first time we've seen him not on the starting offensive lineup at all, which was very interesting, especially because, again, Calvin Anderson looked like he wasn't going to return to practice. I was really worried about what was
down for a long time. It was a good 4 or 5 minutes, I think.
It was definitely concerning. Yeah. But, he was back on the field, participated with the second team the way he had been, and the first offense. So we'll see if that carries over to tomorrow's practice.
Yep. So another quick update, too, on the offensive line. David Andrews leaves one of the drills and doesn't return. I don't know if it's an injury or not. He had been missing the last couple days with his son being in the hospital, but his son's also back, which is good. An update
Huge update for the Andrews family.
Yeah, for sure. So that's good on his part. But he leaves. Nick Leverett comes in. Andrews doesn't return again. Don't know if it's injury. Don't know if it's them easing him back, but just something to monitor, especially with that offensive line, that first offensive line, being so fluid over the last couple of days. Any more news and notes from you on the offensive line?
Well, you mentioned the starting offensive line being fluid, so very notable that Vidarian Lowe at left tackle for the second day in a row, and he hasn't looked out of place. The top offensive line gave Jacoby Brissett plenty of time. He acknowledged it after practice. I really do think the Scott Peters strike system, where he emphasizes independent hand usage, which you didn't see from Vidarian Lowe last season or in prior seasons, at least not on a consistent basis. A lot of his worst really quick losses came when he was shooting two hands at the same time. But I really think that Peters may have gotten something out of him. Vidarian Lowe was someone I had in my roster projection before camp actually opened up. So hopefully he can prove me right. But I also feel like we may see, if Calvin Anderson is healthy and can still participate moving forward, maybe we'll see Vidarian Lowe get another day or two the way we saw with Caden Wallace. And then maybe we'll see Calvin Anderson get the nod for 3 or 4 practices after that in a true competition rotation type of situation. But again, Vidarian Lowe not looking out of place offensive line, which looked good in pass protection, although run blocking, this was probably the worst day for run blocking. Not a whole lot of holes. I think I saw 1 or 2 off cutbacks, but for the most part, a lot of stuffs for that offensive line. So obviously looking to improve in that area. But yeah, mostly consistent over on the top unit. Backup unit, not quite as much because you saw Zuri Henry at right tackle when Calvin Anderson went out, then Calvin Anderson bumping back and forth. But competition is the name of the game in the trenches for another day.
Yeah, plenty of moving parts on that offensive line. Quarterback report as well. Both guys played a little bit better.
I actually forgot one. I'm so sorry.
What do we got?
So Kellen Diesch, who the Patriots actually signed this morning, an offensive tackle, has yet to be on an active roster, but he's bounced around the league. He actually showed up today in Tyrone Wheatley's number 72 jersey. Tyrone Wheatley wasn't at practice yesterday, so, the math there would indicate that Tyrone Wheatley has probably been cut or, something's happened where he's no longer with the team.
Yep, we'll see what happens there. That's the quarterback report. That's the offensive line report as well. Make sure you keep it here at Patriots Press Pass for all the latest surrounding Patriots training camp, and read all of our work over at CLNSmedia.com.
Make sure to subscribe to Patriots Press Pass for all your Patriots news and updates on YouTube, and for all our written work, make sure you check out CLNSmedia.com.